being the key one. But Rishi Sunak will become our first British Asian Prime Minister tomorrow, when King Charles formally appoints him to the job. It's a historic moment, which was welcomed by former Prime Minister David Cameron earlier and by Indians the world over. But is British politics truly an even playing field now for people of all races and all religions? Or could the new Conservative leader still face hostility? I'm joined now by Albie Amankona, who's the co-founder of Conservatives Against Racism for Equality, and indeed by Krish, Kandiah, who is a social entrepreneur. Albie, I will start with you. My inbox currently now is flooded by emails from people saying, actually, don't really talk about this. Race doesn't really matter. I don't care what colour our new Prime Minister is. The fact is, do people even really notice colour in politics these days, do you think?
I think one of the things which is quite remarkable about Rishi Sunak becoming the Prime Minister in waiting is actually just how little that the issue of race has been spoken about at all. If we cast our minds back to when Barack Obama was looking like he was going to win the election against then Republican president, it was one of the things which was at the top of the news agenda all of the time. Whereas Rishi Sunak is going to become the Prime Minister tomorrow, as you say, when he meets His Majesty the King. And it seems as though his race has not been something which has been hugely discussed. And it's a hugely significant moment for the United Kingdom and indeed Hindus that Rishi Sunak, a proud Hindu himself, has become the Prime Minister in waiting on Diwali.
Yeah, Krish, I'll bring you in now. Krish Kandiah, who's a social entrepreneur. From what I can tell, the only people who really care about the colour of our Prime Minister are people in the Labour Party, and I imagine a lot of them are disappointed by it because they don't get to call the Tories racist anymore.
There is a little bit of that. I've seen from some of my Labour Party friends' Twitter feeds that they don't think this is an important moment for Asian representation. But I disagree. I think this is a historic day. I grew up in Brighton. I was the only Asian child in my class. I got told I would only be good for making curries or running a corner shop. And here's someone who I don't necessarily hold the same political values as, but is standing up and going to be leading our country. A lot of people were worried that he wouldn't be selected because of his race, but actually here he is leading our nation in a really powerful way. So I do think this is a milestone. I was there in Chicago in 2008 when Barack Obama won the election and broke the glass ceiling for race in American politics. Rishi Sunak has done that today, and it needs to be celebrated from both the left and the right.
How's it made you feel? I don't know if you've seen it in recent hours, but how's it made you feel, the idea that now, apparently, according to some people on the left, well, Rishi Sunak is not the right kind of ethnic minority because he's wealthy and all of this stuff. How do you feel about that?
Patrick, it's the same old nonsense from the left on that issue. You'd have thought that they'd have learnt their lesson after Rupert Hutt called Kwasi Kwarteng superficially black. But look, ultimately, I have seen people on all sides of politics, whether or not that is Sadiq Khan, whether or not that is Saeeda Vazi, whether or not that's Narendra Modi, all celebrate this huge moment in British history. So there are people on both the left and the right who, as the other contributor has just said, are celebrating this moment. It's a significant moment for British politics. But ultimately, we can't just sit here and pat each other on the back. Rishi Sunak has got a huge intro that Liam was just talking about, and we should judge him on the merits of his actions, not the colour of his skin or his religion.
Yeah, Albie, yes, again, I think you've got the cadence right there. Krish, Kandiah, I'll just throw and give you the final word, Krish, social entrepreneur. You mentioned a glass ceiling there. Look, it's no shock, is it? I am a white guy, so I don't really notice necessarily if there's been any glass ceiling. Has there been a glass ceiling? Has Rishi Sunak just smashed through it?
He's definitely just smashed through it. Right. But as Albie just said, there's a huge job for him to do. I'm sick and tired of these political musical chairs that's meant we haven't made an impact on some of the huge issues facing our nation. There's huge poverty that's just at the front door of so many households. They don't care ultimately who's in power. They just want someone to fix it. And I think that's what we need to happen next. We need to stop playing silly games and start having grown-up government. Now's the moment.
All right, good stuff, both of you. Thank you very much. Albie Amankona there, who's the co-founder of Conservatives Against Racism for Equality, and Krish Kandiah, who is a social entrepreneur.